What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Shield Outdoors. A couple of things we're going to cover today, mostly rattling for white-tailed deer. Now, there are a lot of hunting channels out there, a lot of hunting channels and a lot of opinions. So I want to get back into a more scientific approach to deer hunting. I want to look at facts, numbers, data, and I want to share that stuff with you guys because there's a lot of studies out there, a lot of really good factual data, information studies that a lot of us have probably never even heard of. Today, we're gonna be talking about rattling white-tailed deer, specifically a study by Dr. Mickey Hellickson. Now, Dr. Hellickson was the chief wildlife biologist and deer biologist on the King Ranch, so he does have a little bit of background with deer. Dr. Hellickson completed a 3-year study on white-tailed deer, specifically about rattling, to compile data to see how bucks respond and which rattling sequences get the best response from mature white-tailed deer. So, if you're like me and you want to learn how to be more productive in your whitetail hunting, let's check out this study. But first, we have to do a $150 giveaway that I have not finished yet. So, let's go ahead and get a random winner. This is the URL to the YouTube channel for my $150 giveaway. Let's see what we get. Search. This is a random comment picker. 84 unique comments found. See the little pick a winner button? Boop. Light 'em up outdoors. Light 'em up outdoors with his comment. Boom goes the dynamite. That coyote footage was killer. Light 'em up outdoors. You win $150 gift card. Hit us up and we'll figure out whether it's Cabela's, Bass Pro, Gander, whatever you want, and we'll get that information to you. Thanks so much to everyone who participated. Also, shout outs to Be In Trenching and Michael Murphy, who commented on previous videos. Now, if you want a shout out like that, just drop a comment below and we'll pick a random name for the next video. We do that on all our videos. So thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Now, let's get into this research. Now, while researching what the best rattling techniques would be, I found an awesome article by Matt Ross of QDMA, and he studied this same study that Hellickson did, and he has an excellent article about it. I will link it down below. So this was done in Texas, where Hellickson is from, and I think he even mentioned that there is a pretty good solid number of doe to buck ratio and also a pretty moderate to high deer population, probably because it's a QDMA property. But I mean, when you're a deer biologist, you probably have a pretty good amount of deer around, right? Plus it's the King Ranch, so we know there's a lot of deer there. Dr. Hellickson also had multiple radio collared deer at his disposal, as in, when he was doing this research, he was able to see where they were, compare it to where he was, and he could tell how they reacted to his rattling techniques. So I think the most common question that people are gonna wanna know is, when should I rattle? In this study, he primarily focused over the course of his 3 years on November and December in the peak rut and at the beginning of the post rut. Oftentimes he saw more than one deer respond per rattling sequence. That's pretty good numbers, right? Now again, there was probably a good number of deer where he was at, but that just goes to show he had very, very high success in his rattling sequences during the peak rut and the beginning of the post rut. Now this included bucks of all size. However, in the beginning of the post rut, he saw less responses, but a higher number of those responses were mature white-tailed deer, as compared to the peak rut, where lots of different age deer were out pushing does and responding to these rattling sequences. Mornings were the best time frame of the day in his research, garnering over half of all responses. At 54%, mornings were the best. Middays, we're only getting 16%, and evenings we're getting 30%. So your best chance to rattle in a buck is early morning, and then the evening, and then in the middle is kind of the lower end. Cool temperatures and cloudy days were the best weather conditions. I don't think any avid deer hunter would dispute that, because we know deer move very well during those conditions. Cloudy, cooler than normal temperatures. Anybody out there will tell you that those are money days to hunt. Now, an argument that I have heard from time to time is, should I rattle while up in the tree or down on the ground? There's even a guy I've seen on a hunting show, I don't remember what it was, but he actually had a rope tied to his antlers, and he would, from his tree stand, he would just joggle this rope, and it would make the antlers, bounce around on the ground. Now, whether that's successful or not, or whether that's more successful than doing it from the ground, I don't know. Obviously, being up in a tree will get your sound to project more. In this study, Dr. Hellickson's observers up in the tree observed twice as many bucks, more than twice as many bucks from the tree than the observers on the ground. Now, does that really matter about how you rattle or when to rattle? No, but if you've ever sat on the ground and rattled for deer and didn't see anything, there's a very good chance you just didn't see it. So, I think what this data would show is you have a higher chance of seeing a deer at the very minimum, being higher up in a tree, having more area to see, which I guess the more area you could see, the better. However, it all depends on your hunting situation. So I can't say whether it's better to rattle from the ground or from a tree, but obviously you have a better chance of seeing them if you're higher up. Probably a little bit better chance that they won't see you, but that's all dependent on your hunting situation. The study showed that 60% of deer tried to circle downwind of the rattling, which I think any big, wise old deer would do that. However, remember we talked about he had radio collared deer that he was able to kind of compare their data with? The deer who were upwind of his rattling situation. So he's here, wind is blowing this way. These deer back here were coming directly into it. So I guess you could conclude that they will try to circle around when it is easy or beneficial or quicker, but those radio collared deer were coming directly to it. They were coming with the wind. So having said that, don't only think, oh, I gotta look downwind. Keep your mind open and definitely be looking all around and be prepared for a buck to come from any direction. Now, of course, that leads into scent control. You could try out things like Texas Race Hunting Products Scent Guardian will aid you in remaining undetected. So look into those kind of things to help stay undetectable so deer who come from any direction hopefully don't smell you as they're coming in and they give you that chance at a shot. Shield 25 will get you 25% off of all Texas Race Hunting products if you go to their website and check them out. Finally, he addressed a widely disputed topic of rattling in whitetail deer. Should you rattle loud or should you rattle gentle, nice and quiet, right? Now, we have lots of videos on our cameras of young bucks sparring and even some of our bigger deer sparring. We have 4 deer that have been sparring in front of cameras and they're not making a lot of noise. Big X, Social, Pokey Boy, all those deer have been on camera sparring and it's very gentle sounding. However, we're still in the early part of the season. Now, Dr. Hellickson recommends loud, aggressive rattling, especially, remember, he's talking about the peak rut and post rut where these deer are really aggressive. Now, this includes trying to be realistic as possible, breaking some sticks around you, scraping up the leaves around you, scraping the bark on a tree next to you is not out of the question. If you're going to be loud and aggressive, be loud and aggressive. Now, finally, the most interesting tidbit of information that Dr. Hellickson included in his studies were that the length of his calling was not nearly as important as all these other factors. Now, he did recommend keeping it under 2 to 3 minutes, but that gives you time to do your sequence, get them put away, whether it be rattling antlers or a rattle bag, being able to get those away and be ready for your shot, especially if you're bow hunting. So he does recommend 2 to 3 minutes, but he did say that it doesn't really matter how long you go. I think most people would probably recommend under 2 minutes as well. So trying to stay away from opinion and more data, but when you have somebody who does research like this and has a database of information like this from a 3-year study, I think I would take his opinion over random hunting channels. Congrats again to Light 'em Up Outdoors. Make sure you get a hold of us, buddy, and get your $150. Thank you to everybody who participated. We are now over 1,000 subscribers here on Shield Outdoors. We thank you so much. Make sure you check out Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and hang around for our next giveaway. We have a bunch of hunting stuff coming out, and we're going to do more studies like this and looking at actual factual data rather than just spewing out random opinions like a lot of people these days. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you stick around. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or if you would like a shout out. See you next time. Peace.